There's connections.
How are you?
Good. Yeah.
All right, thank you, everybody. We will call to order the May 6th, no, the May 20th, 2024 P and Z work session at 5:16. At this time, we will open for public comments. If anyone wishes to make a comment, please limit to 3 minutes. Please state your name and city of residence for the record.
Don't see any hands raised. Do know that Councilmember Zoe Grant has joined, and we have a couple of the members from the public have joined us. And it looks like Cheryl Maxwell is also joining online.
Okay. Seeing none in person, we'll go ahead and close the public comment section. We'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Brian Chandler.
All right. Good evening. And I guess first of all, I want to thank you all for being able to make it tonight. I know there were a lot of conflicts. I know Brandon had a work conflict and made it here. Also, Patrick has a brand new daughter. And how many? 2 days ago? Or she was born on Thursday. Okay, all right. So either way, that still a whirlwind, I'm sure. So either way, thank you all for making adjustments to make it here. I know that the applicants especially would appreciate that. All right, so looking at tonight's agenda, we've got a number of plats, numbers 4, 5, and 6 that are on consent. And so these are just replats, which is the whole reason that they're on the P and Z agenda. That's the sole reason. So any questions on those? Okay. And then on the regular agenda, we've got one zoning case and one plat. And so the zoning case FY 24-20-ZC 4103 South 31st Street. This is a multifamily request. And I think what's an important takeaway for you all is that the same group applied previously for a larger multifamily project that generated a response from Dr. Ott, TISD superintendent, who was opposed. Of course, we notify by state law the school district. He wrote a lengthy letter as to why he was opposed to multifamily. They went back to the drawing board, revised, actually scaled back their request. And so actually the school district is on board this time around. So the input was listened to and so I guess had a productive dialogue.
So Brian, on that one, I tried to reach out to Dr. Ott. I was curious to know that they only dropped the amount of units from 300 to 224. So what, 76 different units? Do we know, like, was there a reason that 76 units was the magic number to get under or anything? Because that he approved it? Because
no, we don't have any background other than to share the input provided by the school district.
okay.
And let them know that that's a serious consideration. Our recommendation was going to be for approval previous time. It is this time around. So that if the school district is opposed, then they probably want to start there, in terms of their input before.
I was just curious to know, like, why TISD, like, in the way I look at it, if it's disapproved for 300, it should be disapproved for multifamily regardless. That was one of his biggest concerns when we had our briefing by him and Dr. Smith. Or Mr. Smith, I can't remember if it's doctor or not. Anyways,
yes, who has since gone to a different school district.
Okay.
But yeah, so we don't know the details other than they changed their mind. Perhaps it was the recognition that multifamily is we've got a market for it. There's a need for it. And so to be able to at least influence what it looks like, how intense it is, maybe that location was determined to be okay after further consideration. I'm not sure.
Do we know if there's gonna be HUD coming in?
I don't believe there is. This was Cheryl's case originally while she's been out. Jason has taken it. And do we know?
No, it's,
Okay.
we had a discussion on what, market rate or class A type apartments were.
That's right.
Not a low income project, not a housing type, just a market apartments.
Okay, thank you.
I think they used the term high end or, and I was in their documentation,
Class A.
class A, not sure, what the official definition of that is, but that's what was presented to TISD.
Okay.
Whether that was a factor or not, I'm not sure.
Thank you.
It's me.
Any other questions about that case?
Yeah, Councilmember Grant has a hand up.
Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. I was actually in the meeting with Dr. Ott. So one of the main concerns was the price range. And so showing the price range to the TISD was what made them more okay with moving forward. And then also changing it from I believe it was 1 bedrooms, getting rid of more of the 1 bedrooms and changing them to 2 bedrooms was a big concern. And the fact that it's going to be gated, so they solved a lot of the concerns that TISD had concerning the property across the street. And so it's more an upscale apartment complex now.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Grant. That's helpful. All right. Item 9 is a plat. That's the final plat for the landing at Central Point, the replat. This is along Highway 36. And there's some development that's going on over in that area as well. You've got the Amy's Coffee Shop that recently opened, and then you have the self-storage across Airport Trail from the coffee shop, and this is in that general vicinity as well to create new retail lots. Any questions on it? All right, hearing none, turn it over to Mark Baker, who's going to give his annexation update. And probably the last annexation update. Mark is going to be leaving us after 12 years. Got a great opportunity in the Corpus area to be closer to his kids going to school there. And so we're going to miss Mark. He's got another meeting here, so it's not, or at least a couple more meetings, not the last one, but probably the last annexation update. So we wish him well.
Click that to start it off.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. So for this update, I basically went back covering all of 2023 to the present. There was only one annexation in 2023, so I felt it was a good place to start. So I've identified there's 6 annexations that I'm currently have processed or that are in the works. The first one down here was the only one in 2023, and I just want to give you kind of an overview of where those are. We've got one on the north, one on the east, and most of the growth recently has been on the south side. So the first, again, this was the annexation was complete in December of 2023, and you may remember earlier this year the zoning that came through for PDSF3 and also included about a 20-acre portion for TISD school site. This was 167 acres. that was annexed in, and the rezoning of 145. This is being referred to as the Bokers annexation. And again, was the number one here, and I'll just refer to each one. The second one is being referred to as the Dairy Road annexation. This is one of approximately 58.5 acres. And it does include about 7/10 of an acre of Highway 53 and Dairy Road right of way in order to be contiguous to city boundary. This is actually scheduled for city council first reading on June 6th, with the second reading on June 20th. This is anticipated for a conditional use permit application for a 140 unit RV park. And we would anticipate that CUP will be forthcoming soon, and when ready, that will come before you as part of the review process. Most recently, there's an annexation of 116 acres. This is item number 3 down here, again, on the south side of 116 acres. The annexation was effective earlier this month. We do have a rezoning for that, which includes multifamily, single family attached, and general retail. That'll be coming to you before you at the beginning of June. And let's see, we'll go to number 4, which is, let's see, there we go, right down here on the south side. This is actually the second portion of the Cotton Bottom annexation that we're referring to. You may recall about a year ago, we had rezoning to Planned Development Urban Estate and a plat that came forward for phase 1. This is actually phase 2 and phase 3. We anticipate that this will be also rezoned to urban estate half-acre lots that is consistent with the phase 1. We are waiting for the petition to be completed and then be able to process that and take that to city council for annexation, and then moving forward with rezoning the plat once that's ready. That actually was pending a release of the Little River ETJ that has been completed. And so we're moving forward or the petitioner is able to move forward. We're just waiting for the complete petition so we can go forward. 5 and 6 are actually in progress. Number 5 is down here off of Witter Lane. It's approximately 80 acres. The municipal service agreement has been extended to the property owner. That was done on April 24th. We do anticipate rezoning to single family and warehousing. And we are just waiting for the return of the municipal service agreement before we can schedule that for city council, and then the rezoning would follow. Number 6 is what is being referred to as the Watley annexation. This is the only one on the north side. This is approximately 16 acres. The municipal service agreement was extended on May 10th, and we are just waiting for the return of that document. And we are anticipating a rezoning to 2-family for duplexes. So just some takeaways on what we've seen. As of October 2022, approximately 77.9 square miles is what's within the city boundaries. That would be 1,750 acres have been added between 2019 and 2022. So the change since 2022 is approximately about a 1.7 increase in land area in the last 2 years. So the city is growing. And to compare area to population, Texas grew statewide approximately 1.3% since 2020. So we are ahead of the state population just for Temple alone. Temple population change, this estimates 13.4% increase. So from 2022 or 2020 rather, 82,000 in 2023 to 93,000. Again, these are estimates. And if I remember correctly, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Temple was identified as in the top 20. I think we were number 20 in terms of the growth for communities over 50,000. So Temple is growing.
census estimate, we were the 20th fastest growing city in the entire country, 50,000 or more. So rate, population growth rate, not number.
Stay tuned, that came out last July, so another month. Yes, this year we'll see how well we track.
And that concludes my presentation.
Again, and when's 93 potentially scheduled to get widened all the way?
Probably a couple years. Didn't come out of when we were.
Sorry.
We just went through a round of funding scenarios and scoring for the NPL money, and it was not in the funded scenario. So if it's going to get funded through TxDOT, it'll be some of their other discretionary money. I'm not tracking it in the near future. I know that there's a couple of projects down on 93 that we've met with them, because if they do widen it, it's going to have drastic impacts on both of these residential projects. But nothing firm as far as, the schematics that you requested for 363. We're not at that stage yet.
As always, that's a lot of residential coming in that's gonna potentially flood 93. So as we're going through rezoning requests, annexations, please help us all by taking that into consideration and not just blanket going through. So
Absolutely are. We had a series of emails this morning about that same residential project, about what's the traffic impact, when's the signal possible. So we are doing that.
thank you.
Right. At this time, I'll take volunteers for the invocation and the pledge. Or do you want to do the invocation? Okay. And now we'll hear from Mrs. Gover regarding affidavits.
Commissioner, for the record, no affidavit.
And we will conclude the workshop at 5:33. All right, we'll go ahead and move to the regular meeting. We'll call to order the May 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting at 5:34. Okay.
Good evening and welcome to the May 20th Planning and Zoning Open Session Meeting. Commissioners, please stay present if in attendance at this meeting. Commissioner Morales.
Present.
Commissioner Walker.
President.
Commissioner Jurasic. For the record, Commissioner Jurasic is not present. Commissioner Krause. For the record, Commissioner Krause is not present. Commissioner Smith. For the record, Commissioner Smith is not present. Commissioner James. For the record, Commissioner James is not present. Commissioner Carney.
Present.
Vice Chair McBride.
President.
Chair Marshall.
Present.
For the record, a quorum is present with 5 commissioners in attendance. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Now Commissioner Morales will give the invocation, followed by Commissioner Carney with the pledge. Please rise.
Please join me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your blessings and for just being with us today. We ask that you guide us as we deliberate on important projects for our city. We ask that you bless all the persons that are here today and those in our city, Father. We're so thankful for all that you give us, and we ask for your guidance and your blessing. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. We will now confirm the meeting agenda items. Commissioners, are there any questions or comments regarding the items? If there's no objection, we will approve the meeting agenda by unanimous consent. With no objection, the meeting agenda items are approved by unanimous consent. And we will move to the public comment section. If there are any public comments, please limit your comments to 3 minutes and please state your name and city of residence for the record.
Seeing none online.
Being none in person, we will go ahead and close the public comment section. And we'll move to the consent items. On the consent agenda is the approval of items 1 through 4. Commissioners, if there's no objections, I will entertain a motion.
It'll actually be items 4 through 7 on the agenda.
I can't read. I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Thank you, Kyle. All right, we have
Commissioner Morales,
Aye.
Commissioner Walker,
Aye.
Commissioner Carney,
Aye.
Vice Chair McBride,
Aye.
Chair Marshall.
Aye.
The vote is unanimous and the motion carries.
Thank you, Kathy. That will move on to item number 8. FY-24-20-ZC, hold a public hearing to discuss and recommend action on a rezoning request from general retail to planned development multifamily dwelling 2 on 11.162 acres out of the 13.834 acres address as 4103 South 31st Street. In this case, will be presented by Transportation Planner, Mr. Jason Beckman.
Good evening, Chair, Commissioners. Like Brian pointed out during the workshop, this was Cheryl's case. She did all the work. I just get to take public credit for it now. If there's any questions that I can't answer, Cheryl's online. Brian will certainly correct me if I step out of line. So as stated, this is 11 acres down on South 31st Street, and the city council schedule is on the slide for June 6th for first reading and June 20th for second reading. So this is located on 31st Street, south of the loop, corner of Canyon Creek. You can see on the large map with the star, and then zoomed in that it's currently an undeveloped field, but surrounded by quite a bit of development. You've got a behavioral health facility to the east, an existing apartment complex to the north that's owned by the Center for Texas Housing Consortium. You've got some retail, car wash, coffee shop down here, and a strip mall. There's a restaurant and gym, and then the homes to the south, which are duplexes on small lots. And there was a previous zoning case here that was withdrawn back in August of 2022 for 300 dwelling units proposed. So this is a change. Since that time, we've had some inquiries for the other property on the corner, but tonight's request is for the rezoning to PDMF2 for the hatched portion shown on that aerial photo. We do have a number of photos showing the property and the surrounding areas. You can see that it's, mostly grassy and shrubs and trees. Here's the Mexican restaurant on the end cap of that strip mall. You can see the homes here. Note the overhead electrical easement, the high tension line running through. So this part of the property won't be developed. That'll be a buffer in the easement because you cannot build under the power lines. And over here you see another view of the retail and service uses. On the lower right is the behavioral health facility on Canyon Creek Drive, and the upper left is the apartments. Here's another view of those two-story duplexes to the south with that overhead electric. Here's another view from the retail parking lot. And again, some better shots closer up of the number of businesses right nearby. And then we have a view, for the car wash, the auto body service, and then just a view looking south on 31st Street. So the background, the applicant is proposing a multifamily residential development, approximately 224 dwelling units. part of the reason they settled on 224, that's just under the maximum allowable density of 20 units per acre per the MF2 base zoning. And like we explained, it's a reduction from the previous request. The applicant has provided a few concept plans. We have one at the end of the slideshow. If it needs to be, we can look at it. However, it's not binding for this plan development. And any plans that come in, there's a condition that they come back to this commission for that detailed review prior to building permits. So it fronts primarily on Canyon Creek. There is frontage on 31st Street, but it's in that overhead electrical easement, so the likelihood of a street entrance there might be difficult. But with 224 units and 2 entrances on Canyon Creek, it would meet the subdivision standards if they have the enhanced entrances. And there's existing curb cuts on Canyon Creek to make those connections. And the specifics, that'll be coming with the site plan, and then when they have the subdivision plat, we'll confirm the location of the drives. As far as comparison of the uses and dimensions, the takeaway on the use table, general retail allows a lot of different businesses, primarily non-residential, but some residential is allowed in GR. The multifamily too, for the most part, limits it to multifamily. And you'll notice that a lot of these other non-residential uses require a conditional use permit. So there would be additional review and oversight if there was a change from MF2. And then we have the standard, dimensions, and we already described the surrounding properties. You saw that in the photos. Did do a calculation, and I apologize when I put this table together for Cheryl, the working number was 228. So a difference of 4 units, but not going to give you a drastic difference in the overall volume, that comparing the dynamics of single family detached versus multifamily housing. You see that the single family does generate at least 25-30% more trips with that 2,150 number. So while this is an addition to the traffic in the area, other uses could add more traffic. If it was to stay general retail, I pulled a few likely uses, either stuff that's already there or that could be on a corner lot with 2 arterial frontages that, you could have a daycare center, you could have a variety store on 11 acres, you could have quite a few businesses that would add a arguably much larger volume traffic once they're all combined. As far as current traffic volume, South 31st Street being a major arterial could handle 20,000 to 40,000 daily trips. It's currently sitting at 17,000. And yes, we know that it does get busy during peak hour. But overall, the road is, at or below capacity and could conceivably absorb the additional 1,500 trips from this. Canyon Creek is a minor arterial. And more to the point, it's a divided arterial with that median. That's going to remove some of the left turn movements. And even the wrong way crashes where distracted drivers drift across the center turn lane. Median is going to function much better from a safety aspect. So that's a 12,000, 24,000 capacity estimate, and it's currently sitting at 5,900. So again, I think we're confident to say that, the road network has the capacity to take on additional traffic from these apartments. This is a lot of small text for some of us older eyes to read on here. But the takeaway is that is the development in harmony with the surrounding area? Yes, the multifamily, will fit in with the retail. There's a saying that, retail follows rooftops. In this case, some of the rooftops are already there. This provides more, and those residents will have access to a lot of the restaurants, the services. There's an H&R Block in there. Are the streets sufficient? Yes, we just looked at the traffic volume. There's open space and parkland incorporated into the site plan. Part of that is that buffer under the overhead electric. A lot of the developments that we've presented to you before, we've shown that where the overhead electric could be the location of a future trail. And water drainage and wastewater, there's existing utilities around the site, and then drainage, that would come with the review of the subdivision plat when our engineering and public works experts take a look at how they design their drainage and detention ponds. So there's the existing water lines, 8-inch sewer lines, 15-inch sewer lines to the south, 8-inch water lines on either side, so there's adequate capacity there. A little bit more on the future land use and the thoroughfare plan. So both roads are major arterials and, minor arterial on Canyon Creek. And the future land use shows this as corridor mixed use. So with the close conjunction of the retail and service car washes and Jiffy Lubes, that does meet that definition of a mixture of residential and commercial uses. And with the sidewalks, that meets that thoroughfare connector trail that runs up 31st Street as well as Canyon Creek. So the compliance summary with 4 categories, we look at the future development plan compatible with surrounding area, public facilities, and the thoroughfare plan. The answer is yes to all 4. We did send out 25 notices. We received 1 response by email today, shown on the map with the A. It's the same owner, but 2 different properties, and was in agreement. Have received no other mailed notices, and Temple ISD had sent an email that indicated they support this project as opposed to the previous one. And lastly, the newspaper printed notice on May 9th. So staff recommends approval of this rezoning from general retail to planned development MF2, subject to the following conditions. So the first is that it is MF2 with a maximum of 224 units. That this commission and city council will see the detailed site plan with building elevations, and that will be a formal review and approval. We'll also send a courtesy notice to Temple ISD once we receive those plans, and that's coming forward. Any entrances into the multifamily complex will comply with the residential subdivision standards. Height of the buildings is limited to 3 stories. That the lighting will follow UDC Section 7 for glare to not be a distraction or a nuisance to the surrounding homes. Screening and buffering will follow UDC Section 7.7, will be evaluated with that site plan, as well as landscape parking islands inside the complex and the rows with trees throughout. And the subdivision plat will be required prior to developing the site or submitting permits. So that concludes my presentation. I'll stand by if you have any questions.
I'd like to add as a possible condition for approval would be no additional curb cuts to the median on Canyon Creek. Is that something that we could recommend as a condition?
As part of the zoning case, I believe you could recommend that.
Okay. Just to, I mean, it doesn't go on the 300 units, so it doesn't need to have.
And you're talking median cuts or curb cuts?
Well, the median.
Median.
So letting, the right in, right out
Okay.
for one of the potential 2 entrances. I get the one entrance, probably the main one, having the turn lane cut where the existing median cut is, but the secondary entrance, hopefully on Canyon Creek, is just a right in, right.
Right. Yeah, you could put no additional median cuts as a condition.
And then the likelihood of them adding an entrance on 31st, given that.
They'd have to work that out with Encore. That may take longer than our zoning schedule allows for, so we didn't. Yeah, and this may be a good point to bring up again. This is not binding, so it wasn't part of the main presentation, but it is worth looking at. So this is one of the conceptual renderings they provided. So there's their ingress egress, one of the options that they have available. So these are the 2 cuts that are there now on Canyon Creek. they may have an option to run through the retail parking lot and then access 31st Street that way. So it's an additional option. And that's where that buffer zone for the overhead electric is. As you can see, in this one, they hadn't shown that as an entrance. That may be up to the owner and whether or not Encore would allow that. We're not requiring it. Yeah, the same owner that owns the retail owns the multifamily.
They take that across that where the car wash is. I'm visually trying to limit the amount of direct traffic back onto 31st Street.
Mhm.
And that's the nicer side of 31st Street. Not that I overlook.
And as I think it was mentioned, they are planning a gated community, so it's likely there's only gonna really be one main entrance and then emergency secondary entrances.
That makes more sense. So. Okay. Thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to.
Oh, gosh, I don't know what's wrong with me today. This case requires a public hearing. We'll now open the public hearing. If you wish to speak and are attending in person, please come to the podium. If you're viewing the meeting online, please firstly raise your hand. Please state your full name and city of residence for the record. Thank you.
I'm not seeing any hands raised online. Those online, feel free to speak up if you're unable to. I do see that Surya, which is the owner, is online. And the engineer is here in person. Seeing
Seeing
none.
none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And now I will entertain a motion. Sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve FY 24 20 ZC. As presented by staff with the additional condition that no new median cuts on Canyon Creek be allowed.
All right, the motion has been made by Commissioner McBride and a second by Commissioner Morales to approve item 8 FY 24 20 CC to City Council per staff recommendation with the additional stipulation of no additional median cuts on Canyon Creek. May we have a vote, please?
Yes. Commissioner Morales.
Aye.
Commissioner Walker.
Aye.
Commissioner Carney.
Aye.
Vice Chair McBride.
Aye.
Chair Marshall.
Aye.
The vote is unanimous and the motion carries.
Making notes, I'm sorry. Good luck to the other things to be able to read that later. Okay, we'll move to item number 9, which is FY 24 28 PLT. Consider and take action on the final plat of the landing at Central Point replat number 1, a 15.262 acre, 7 lot, 1 block, non-residential subdivision, being a replat of lots 3 through 9, block 2 of the landing at Central Point final plat subdivision located on the north side of South Highway 36. Addressed as 6404, 6326, 6248, 6238, 6228, 6206, and 6142 State Highway 36. This case will be presented by Principal Planner Mr. Mark Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. The commission is the final authority as there are no exceptions as part of this plat. So just to show you where the property is located along Airport Road, Highway 36. And so as described in the item description, this is a 15-acre, 7-lot non-residential subdivision. It's a replat of the original landing at Central Point, and that consisted of 7 lots, all for non-residential purposes. This replat is required because of the adjustment and even abandonment of several easements that were created by the plat. It does have planned development, general retail zoning that occurred back in 2022. It also includes the CUP for on-premise alcohol consumption. As part of the original plan development, due to the proximity to the airport, there was an navigation easement that was required. That is still necessary and has not been recorded. That is actually a condition of approval for this plat. And also the abandonment of a utility easement that was created by the original plat. That is in process and does require a city council resolution number to be reflected on the plat that would be provided at the time of plat recordation. That also is a condition of approval. So tonight, the plat is going forward with those conditions being proposed. The plat did go through our development review process on April 25th and was deemed complete and filed on May 3rd. And compliance with the corporate campus master plan, as well as the conditions of the original PD ordinance, those will be confirmed through the review of the building plans. There's also a plat note for the sidewalk on State Highway 36. So the final plat is shown here. Again, there's a number of easements as well as the abandonment of that one utility easement that requires city council action. And the utility plan with the proposed layout, parking area, building footprints. And so staff recommends approval of the final plat, subject to the following conditions. One, prior to plat recordation, the required navigation easement is recorded and its recording information reflected on the plat. Condition number 2, prior to plat recordation, city council resolution reference for the easement abandonment, as well as the recording information for any newly created utility easements are reflected on the plat. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available should you have any questions, and the engineer is also available. Welcome.
Make a motion to approve item FY 24-28 PLT as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Carney and a second by Commissioner McBride to approve item 9, FY 24-28 PLT for staff recommendation. Maybe a roll, please.
Yes. Commissioner Morales.
Aye.
Commissioner Walker.
Aye.
Commissioner Carney.
Aye.
Vice Chair McBride.
Aye.
Chair Marshall.
Aye.
The vote is unanimous and the motion carries.
Meeting at 5:58.